What's going on, everyone? This is Kevin here, and
Stefan from TechRight.
Now, if you've been following both of our channels for a while now, then you'll know that we've done a lot of coverage about the various LG Stylo phones that have been released over the last several years. Now, the LG Stylo 4 was a great evolution from the LG Stylo 3, but the LG Stylo 5 that came out this summer was pretty much like the same exact phone as the LG Stylo 4. I know that many people, including both of us, were very disappointed about the launch of the LG Stylo 5 since it literally had the same processor, the same amount of RAM, and pretty much the same exact size as the phone that came out a year before it. Now, Stefan, out of a scale of 1 to 10, with 10 being the most disappointed, how disappointed were you with the LG Stylo 5?
Honestly, since it was the same as the Stylo 4, like verbatim, I feel like a hard 10 because I'm a fan of the Stylo series, and you know that, and we've been covering it for a while, and we were really expecting something pretty big, so.
Yeah, I mean, maybe even an 11 out of 10 with the disappointment level with the LG Stylo 5. Like, if you've ever been just punched in... It's like going to bed on Christmas Eve and then waking up in the morning to having no presents for you. That's how disappointing the LG Stylo 5 was. Now, despite all of that, the LG Stylo 5 actually was a big sales success, and I'm gauging that based off of the interest that my LG Stylo 5 videos have gotten since the phone was launched this summer. In fact, it seems like my LG Stylo 5 videos got more views and interest in general than my LG Stylo 4 videos. So clearly it kind of worked out for LG because they didn't have to really spend too much money with the LG Stylo 5 with research and development costs. But I don't think with the Stylo 6, they're going to be able to get away with offering the same exact phone yet again. I think one of the reasons why LG was able to get away with the LG Stylo 5 being nearly the same as the Stylo 4 is because the Stylo 4 was a bit ahead of its time. Now, we have the phone right here. Stefan was holding it up a second ago. This is the LG Stylo 5, and it's still a decent phone. I mean, it's not too bad, but it's certainly time for some major improvements with LG Stylo 6. And to be honest, if the LG Stylo 6 is exactly like the LG Stylo 5, then
I might just quit YouTube altogether.
So I did take the time to come up with some predictions, and by the way, Stefan has not seen these predictions yet. We actually both just sat down and wrote down our own LG Stylo 6 predictions. I also did a Photoshop rendering of what I think the LG Stylo 6 will look like based off of what I'm hoping to see. But after this video, definitely go over to Stefan's channel, which I'm sure you all know is called TechRight, and then check out his video where he gives his predictions about the LG Stylo 6. But let's start out with my predictions. So the first thing is that as far as the price goes, they've got to offer this phone factory unlocked. Now the LG Stylo 5 is offered factory unlocked on Amazon and I believe other places online too. But right out of the gate, immediately, the LG Stylo 6 needs to be available factory unlocked. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that's definitely a understatement. It should be unlocked. I feel like a few of the other Stylos, I think they were all unlocked, right? I believe so.
Yeah, eventually, usually about a month or two after the Stylo is launched on a variety of different carriers, they do eventually release the factory unlocked version of the phone. But we don't want to wait, right?
Yeah, I definitely feel like it should be unlocked.
Right away,
honestly, because we've seen in the past it's been released at Cricket, Metro by T-Mobile, and it's always just been to that carrier until 3-4 months later, like Kevin was saying, and then we got the phone. But I think it should drop on Amazon the same day it drops on Cricket, Boost Mobile, and Metro by T-Mobile, so...
I completely agree with you, and I think a fair price for the LG Stylo 6, based off the specs that I'm about to tell you, I think the phone should be offered at $249 unlocked. So, what do you think? Pretty good price?
Yeah, definitely. Seeing that we have some of the devices near that price range that are actually a lot better, such as, for example, the Galaxy A20 or the A20s, that's around that price point, and I feel like those devices definitely blow the Stylo 5 out of the water.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Samsung, and we can talk about this in a whole nother video. I mean, it's a pretty awesome and important topic, but Samsung really did a great job with their A series of phones in 2019. I mean, they really took over the budget market quite a bit, with LG really only putting out the Stylo 5, which, as we talked about a second ago, is not impressive at all. Now, if you own a Stylo 5, no offense, but it's the truth. Now let's talk about display size. I would really like to see the phone's display increased to 6.5 inches, and then for it to have a 20:9 aspect ratio instead of an 18:9 aspect ratio. If you've been watching my channel recently, you've probably seen my coverage of the Samsung Galaxy A51. That phone has a 20:9 aspect ratio, and I think that's really the future, and I'm a big fan of that form factor. Now, as far as the display, we're going to keep it at 1080p. That's one of the most impressive things about the Stylo 5 is that it does have a 1080p display. I would like to see the Stylo 6 go, though, from LCD display technology to AMOLED, like we've been seeing with the Galaxy A20. Yeah, right?
Yeah,
You're a big fan of AMOLED?
Yeah, definitely. Like it's a really good trade-off, especially on the A20, since we're seeing a 720p screen, but it does have that AMOLED screen, so the colors are more vibrant, and they actually look better than a 1080p, LCD screen. So even if it's 720, maybe make it an AMOLED screen, and that's a really good trade-off.
Definitely. So let's do AMOLED, LG. Come on. We know you can do it. I mean, I know that you've been making some really incredible televisions, and those have had great looking OLED quality. So let's put some sort of LED technology into your smartphones. Now, moving on to the cameras. Now, I would like to see a hole punch for the front-facing camera. So no notch. That's 2019. 2020 is the year of the hole punch. Almost to make this phone look like a mini Galaxy Note 10, right?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it should have the hole punch because that seems to be the new technology advancements, especially in the mid-range and lower tier devices. We've seen the teardrop, and that's what I think LG may be going for, but I'm really hoping they have the hole punch because the teardrop is actually a little bit too late because that happened late 2018, early 2019. Yep. So
exactly. So let's hope that we do get a hole punch for the front-facing camera. And let's bump it up. So the LG Stylo 5 has a 5 megapixel front-facing camera, unheard of in 2019. So yeah, that's embarrassing. So let's do a 16 megapixel front-facing camera with the LG Stylo 6. And then for internal storage, really LG, 32 gigs with the LG Stylo 5? No. Don't do that with the LG Stylo 6. We're going to double that to 64 gigs. Yeah, and then of course, keep micro SD card expansion. We all like that too.
Yeah, we definitely have to double the storage on that. Saw a lot of people complaining. I think that was one of the biggest complaints was the lack of RAM and also 32 gigabytes of storage. We got to bump that up, at least double it, like Kevin said.
Yeah, seriously though. It's understandable that the LG Stylo 5 has no wireless charging. We don't need that with the Stylo 6 either. I like that feature, but that's more of a higher end, mid-range feature. As far as the fingerprint sensor goes, let's move it from the back to the front, all right? We're going to put that in the display, so an in-display fingerprint sensor with the LG Stylo 6. Of course, we're going to have face unlock as well.
Yeah, that's definitely doable, especially the in-screen fingerprint sensor, because we've seen that in cheaper devices actually.
Exactly. And again, to remind you, this is the first time that Stefan's heard these predictions from me, and I actually don't even know what predictions he wrote down, so we're about to find that out in the video that's going to be on his channel. So again, check that out after this video.
Might be the same, might be different, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, great minds think alike, right? So, okay, moving on to the cameras. So we have only one camera with the LG Stylo 5. That's pretty sad. Just one camera, no portrait mode, which is pretty incredible to not have in 2019. So now that it's 2020, and we're going to be getting the LG Stylo 6 this summer, let's do a dual camera setup. We're going to do a 48 megapixel main camera, increased from the 13 megapixel rear facing camera, and then a secondary 12 megapixel ultra wide angle camera that will also double as the depth sensing camera. We've seen this already with the Samsung Galaxy A20, where the secondary camera doubles as both an ultra wide angle camera and a depth sensing camera. So I think LG can do that, and they would save some money versus having a dedicated depth sensing camera. So instead of doing a triple camera design, I would like to see everything kind of bundled into just two cameras. Now with the LG Stylo 5, we do actually surprisingly have portrait mode with the front facing camera, but again, not with the rear. So now with the LG Stylo 6, we'll have portrait mode on both the front and rear. What do you think?
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a good prediction. The dual camera, dual or three camera, tri-camera, whatever. I feel that LG always tends to go with one camera on their devices, especially their, mid-range or their lower tier devices. So I feel like if they don't focus on their software and they just put out two cameras and have one of them as a ultra wide angle camera, I feel like a lot of people would be pleased with that because LG seems to ironically focus on more of their software inside of their cameras. And that's kind of Google's job, because Google does a 10x better job than them. So definitely would like another physical camera.
Sure, absolutely. And then for the RAM, let's do 4 gigs of RAM with the LG Stylo 6, increased from 3 from the LG Stylo 5. I think that's a pretty reasonable request there. And then for the processor, now the LG Stylo 5 has the Qualcomm Snapdragon 450, and that is a slow, old processor. So I think it's time for the Stylo series to move up to Qualcomm 600 series processors. And I'd like the phone to have the Snapdragon 632, which is the same processor that's found with the Moto G7.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that processor it may or may not be in my predictions, but I definitely feel like that's where they should be going at this point.
Another thing too is that with the Moto G7, you do get 4K video recording, and that's due to the 632 from Qualcomm. So if the LG Stylo 6 does get that processor, then the phone also will be able to have 4K video recording, so increased from 1080p with the LG Stylo 5. And then for battery capacity, the LG Stylo 5 has a 3,500 milliamp hour internal battery. I'd like to see that bumped up to 4,000 milliamp hours. And then finally, for the software, I know that LG probably wouldn't do this, but I'd like to see Android 10, Android One on there. So more of a stock experience rather than LG skin. I think this is really a chance for LG just to kind of drop the skin and go with stock Android. I'd love to see that happen. I doubt it would happen, but at the very least, Android 10, whether it has LG skin or Android One, whatever is going to get us the fastest updates, which I would guess would be Android One, I would like to see. And then beyond that, as far as the actual design of the phone goes, you can check out my renderings for my thoughts on that. It's pretty self-explanatory. And the way that the renderings are set up, it pretty much reflects upon all of the different specifications that I've talked about here in this video. But that's what I'm hoping to see about the LG Stylo 6. Of course, as things leak out about the phone over time from now to the launch, I will be putting out various other videos regarding the phone. I know that many of you are looking forward to seeing what the LG Stylo 6 is going to become, especially since the LG Stylo 5 literally was an LG Stylo 4 with minor improvements like newer software, and that's about it. So let's see what happens. Hopefully LG has it in them. I know that with Samsung's A series, LG really has to put out some good stuff in 2020. They can't have it be another lazy year like 2019 was. And also one other thing, I guess I didn't really talk about stylus improvements in this video. I'm pretty happy with the stylus of the LG Stylo 5. It's not the most advanced ever, but I think it does pretty much give you all the features you really need from a budget phone. So I don't really feel like that needs to be upgraded. I don't know if you think that's the case.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk about that on my predictions, because that was one of the aches and pains, I guess, of the Stylo 5 and Stylo 4 and every other Stylo that I had. So definitely watch my video, because I don't like the current stylus.
Definitely. All right. Well, thank you so much, Stefan, for kind of sharing your thoughts and reactions to my predictions. Just one final thing about that. What do you think of my predictions? Are they good?
So your predictions are definitely good. They are realistic. So I'm hoping that LG implements some of these, if not all. I'd be pretty happy if they release something at this type of stature. So yeah,
for sure. And one final thing, I would like to give a challenge to Wade from Tech Daily to make his own version of this video, going over his predictions for the LG Stylo 6. I know he covered the LG Stylo 5 on his channel previously. So Wade, if you're watching this, please make your own predictions video. And then check out the link in the video description to see Stefan's predictions over on his channel, TechRight. But thanks everyone for watching. This is Kevin here. This is Stefan from TechRight, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.